Hi, you guys. Welcome back to an all new episode of Black Girl Can't Cook. You guys, today I am joined by the beautiful, the fabulous Amber Lyon. Woo, 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 woo. Amber,
Hi,
Amber, how are you?
I am good. It's so good to see your face and to be talking to you right now. I'm really, really excited.
I know. And too, we're really close. I'm all the way here in Queens. Where are you calling from?
Williamsburg over here in Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. And, before I start every episode, I love to just start out how is your heart today? We just left a heat wave. It's July 1st. We're in New York. How are you doing and how's everything going?
Yeah, I would say things are okay. Work has been really challenging. I work at a mental health tech company, and today I had a few tough calls. I'm getting over a little bit of a cold. I went to a club for the first time since pre-COVID, like 2 weeks ago, and I picked up a cold, so I'm just now getting rid of it. And I'm also I just recently went through a breakup, so I'm dealing with that. But I worked out today and I
Ooh,
cooked for myself today and I journaled today and I was like, I'm just gonna focus on me.
yeah.
And so through all the challenges, I feel really good today
Oh
overall.
my God, Amber. Wait, first, thank you so much for sharing. And two, wait, so incredible that you were able to take care of yourself and nurture yourself. Cause as human, as women, and as New York women, we definitely, oh my God, the go, go, go. So just to be able to pause and really nurture and take care of yourself. No, listeners, listen, thank you. That's so important. And I'm glad that you said that.
Yeah.
Also, two, wait, you're vaccinated. I'm vaccinated. Listen, a lot of my girlfriends, they're getting just little colds and they're just just be careful and just don't. But it's good. Doesn't the spirit of New York feel so amazing right
Oh
now?
my God, it's incredible. Like walking down the street and people are not wearing masks and you're making flirty eye contact that you haven't been able to do in a long
Do
time. Yeah. I love the energy is back and it feels so, so good.
it feels incredible. And tell us about your work and what you do. You do, guys, listeners, Amber does great work. We'll get into how we met, but please tell us about your work and what you do.
Yeah, so I work for a company called Spring Health, and we're like a venture-backed tech company here in New York. And I basically work in sales, and I sell to HR leaders and people leaders a mental health employee benefit. So if you have benefits at your company, and like for me, for example, I had a health insurance for a long time,
Mhm.
still no mental health dedicated resources. It's really challenging to find the right therapist, the
Oh,
right support. So we help with that from soup to nuts, that the entire process. So coaching and therapy and psychiatry and ongoing support and digital exercises and mindfulness and meditation and all that stuff.
that Amber, wait, that is so incredible. And on my show notes, I will link your where you work. And you had a beautiful story that you wrote, and we'll get into that too. But that's so incredible because yeah, listeners, luckily because of the pandemic, this was the first time I got health insurance. Praise the Lord. But I'm on
Yeah.
Medicaid, the one that's for the poor artist people. Yes, said it. But you're so absolutely right. Listeners, it is so difficult to find therapists, psychiatrists, any type of. Oh, and I thought it was bad in Arizona. Well, I didn't think it was bad. I was a child and taken care of. But to be a 20-year-old or a young adult in New York and these resources be so unbelievably fucking impossible or expensive, it's devastating and it's tough. And that's amazing that your company is, like you said, the whole soup and nuts and they just kind of do it together.
Yeah, and exactly what you said. It's like when I first moved to New York, it was so hard to find anyone who would take my insurance. And then when I did, they didn't want to talk to me. They just wanted to give me medicine, and it wasn't the right medicine, and it was a mess. And people of color and people that are part of the LGBTQ community, they need to find someone who understands them, relevant backgrounds, where they're going to be able to heal and feel comfortable with the person they're working with. And that's what
And
we do.
exactly. And you said it best, feel comfortable. I can't tell you how many times and stories I've just read of, like you said, LGBTQ plus and black and brown people just, we don't, it's not even the stigma because it's a lot of fact, but we just don't feel comfortable. And that's so good that there is a connecting piece and a stepping stone that we can get the health access that we need. It's listeners, it's so fucked up. It's 2021 and we don't have health insurance in America.
So fucked up.
It's so fucked up. I
I
try
want to
to
fix it all. I can't, but I'm doing a small part, but I just want to burn it to the ground and rebuild it because it's so bad.
It's so bad. And truly, like listeners, I don't know if you know, there's resources and I'll put it in the show notes, but there's also like city clinics. Like, praise
Yep.
God, we're in a metropolitan New York motherfucking city. There are places you can go free cost. I know before, oh my God, I just got my first OBGYN, but before that, I was at the Planned Parenthood. You believe it? No insurance, getting taken care of, getting my like. So we're so lucky that we're in such a great area to have access because simply people don't have access.
Exactly. No, it's a huge problem. And we try to focus on stigma and access, then the right type of care at the right time.
Incredible, incredible. And so, how was your Amber? How was your 2020? I mean, you got a new job and listener, she has this sick ass place, literally like out of a dream movie set. I love your little pictures and your Peloton bike. I'm like, oh my gosh,
Oh,
gorgeous.
thank you so much.
So cute. How was your 2020 and like what did you learn about yourself?
Yeah, 2020 was like a like self-discovery for sure. So like it started out like really bad actually. We all had to work from home, obviously. And then one of my best friends, Andrea, um, she unfortunately like recently she had moved to another city to like start over,
Yeah.
and she got really depressed and like never got a job, and then COVID hit and she ended up dying by suicide. So it started off really like heavy, and then I like spiraled into a depression because I was like trying to manage it.
Of course.
And then I started like, and then I just like focused on like exercise and like journaling and like writing poetry. And then I met someone really special to me like last summer, and we kind of helped each other develop and grow over the next like 8 to 10 months.
Yeah.
And then obviously COVID came back in the winter, and I was like isolated in my apartment, and I was like,
What?
I don't know if you like are curious about this, but like
Only.
last summer, the end of last summer, I did a mushroom trip that like that like changed my outlook on myself and my life. And
Oh shit.
I'm not in the same sense. Like it helped me so much.
Oh my God. Okay. First things first, let's take a second. Listeners, you know, I'm so big on mental health and mental illness. And I too, Amber, lost a friend to suicide. We'll just take a moment for your friend Andrea, you know, and it's so tough. It's so tough, I think. And we feel so alone and then there's just no way out. And I'm so happy you were able to work out of your depression through that because I had so many friends who like lost parents, lost
I
friends.
know
Then
a lot
I
of people.
lost a friend. Like there's so much devastating death and loss. It's really important to grieve and to go through that. So I'm so sorry for your loss and I'm happy
Thank
you
you.
were able to work out through that depression because we're all human, and to them the grieving process is different for every single one of us, and just holy shit, you can't, it's unexplainable,
And
and
it's
that's just
everlasting too. It's like you think you hit the bottom of the grief process, and then you go back up and you go back down. Like it's an ongoing thing you're always going to go through.
and two, do you think, for me at least, it like comes in waves, the
Yeah.
strangest bizarre, like the waves. And two, I was just on vacation in the beach and my friend who passed, Connor, was a Scorpio and loved the ocean and water, and I just was sobbing in the ocean, and I just was like, I'm so sorry, like I'm so sorry, Connor. I was, and so it just comes in waves, it really, really
And
does.
holding space right now for your friend Connor, I did see that on Instagram. So like my deepest condolences to you as well. Like
Thank
that's so
you.
sad.
Yeah. And two, listeners, if you need help, you are not alone. And reach out, and if you feel like you can't reach out, bitch, slide in my DM. I will sit up all night and talk with you and we'll work through it. You are not alone. Now, Amber, girl, that's why I knew I fucked with you. So the mushroom trip, okay, sis. You went, and so this listener, so it's so funny. A lot of all my friends, so black, white, Asian, all my friends do mushrooms and they're into it. Lots of micro, lots of this, friends in Colorado, friends in the city. I came back from Arizona. I have like a mushroom chocolate bar. I'm like afraid to take like a lot of my stigma and stuff is like my parents just being overprotective and being like, well, we had a friend that like did that one drug or got roofied and they never were the same.
Yeah.
And then two, in my family, I do have a lot of mental illness. So brother, paranoid schizophrenic, a younger brother, autism, me, borderline, bipolar. There's a lot of that too. So I'm very, when it comes to all those other substances, like even alcohol, I'm like, all I need is weed. But I've done so much research, and listeners, you have to know the power and healing of psychedelics.
Yep. it's
It's
literally
real. It's real.
it's going to be the new wave of medicine. I'm like absolutely sure. Like it's so it just gives you the space and it allows you to expand your mind to process trauma in a way that you
Trauma,
don't really have. Like you,
alcoholism, PTSD. Like I'm like on my kind of goopy shit listening to all the research and like since like and this research has been out for at least like 10, 20 years, but it's just now like all the things. And two, what a time to be alive. What all like the access we have and everything. And tell me about your trip and how and did you drink and even I have a my younger brother who's autistic, he's Asperger's, and he's like so high functioning, so intelligent. He micro doses and he's like it's so introspective. I feel so tell me about your experience.
yeah, so I actually wasn't looking for like a therapeutic experience. Like I was in South Carolina with a few friends and they just bought this amazing house and we were just like enjoying the pool
I
day.
saw that during the summer. Yes,
Yep,
you were
yep.
living.
I was, and it was just like perfect. Like, should we do mushrooms? And I'm like, you know what? Like, this is the best space to do them. So like, let's fucking do it. And I take them and like we're out in the pool and it's fun. But then like we're in South Carolina in the middle of summer. It's like all the palm trees start waving at me and I'm in a pool and it's so intense.
Oh.
And I can't stop laughing. So I go inside because I'm like, I need to take care of myself for a minute. Like I'm like over what's it called? Like overstimulated right now.
Yeah.
I go inside, and this woman that was with me, she's amazing. She's actually a coworker of mine, Court. If you're
Shout out Court.
yeah. But she actually laid down a yoga mat for me, like in the bay windows of her dining room, and put a notepad there and like a pillow. And she's like, "You just have the space to like do what you want to write, draw, like do what you need to do." And he left me alone for like was probably hours. And I don't know how to describe it, but I basically laid there and I was looking out the window and the trees were moving. And I just started thinking about like everything in my life. Yeah. And I was crying and I was laughing and I was thinking about because I lost my dad and I've been through a divorce and I have mental illness and I have body issues. And I was just thinking about all these things that have been baggage and how I label them as baggage. And I saw that they make me who I am. And I'm like this vibrant human that like deserves love and like is worthy of all these good things. And I was crying and like, I could not stop crying, but I was like laughing and smiling. And then I remember I walked, so this was like hours long. Like I was like going through it and I can't even like recall exactly what my mind was doing, but I was working through a lot of stuff. Yeah. And then I remember I walked out on the balcony like a few hours later. And everyone is like, I'm wearing a bathing suit because I'm like fucking rocking it.
It's so hot.
And I walk onto the balcony and everyone's like, oh my God. And I was like, what? They're like, you look like a totally different person. I was like, I feel like a totally different person. And it sounds wild, but like that like change has like kept on throughout almost an entire year. And I feel like the most myself I've ever been in my life.
Oh my God. Oh my. And two, I want to just add to it so much more authentic. Like I love following you and I love that we've stayed in touch and just you do. Isn't it so funny too, when you feel like more like yourself, it just is. And it's literally an energy fucking shift. And yes, I love that you got your friends are like, wait, you like something is off. And you like literally got the That's just so crazy. And I love your friend, the pillow, the yoga mat, the whole.
Oh, she's incredible. And even when I got back to New York, like I was starting a new job and like I ended up getting deeper into my friendships. I ended up cutting off some that weren't serving me anymore. I ended up diving into more creative pursuits in my life. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, like I feel the most me than I've ever felt in my entire life.
Oh my God. And what a beautiful thing. I think, a lot of us, some of us, and it is a privilege, like 2020 COVID was like the best thing that ever happened.
Yeah. And I will say, like, the last thing I'll say about the mushroom trip is like, and I was trying to describe it to my friends, like right after it happened. And the closest feeling that I had when I was on that mat is like an orgasm, but it wasn't sexual in any way, but it was just multiple orgasms in like this mind way. And I was like, oh
like
my
a body
God.
high, would you say?
Yeah. It was incredible. Like yeah. So anyway, like sign me up for a therapeutic study with a scientist. Like I fuck with psychedelics.
Yes, psychedelics are it. And wait, so would you recommend people, should I do them in New York? Like not.
I have a bunch in my freezer right now. And like, I've been like taking a little bit, like probably like 3 or 4 days a week to microdose. And it's like good, right? I'm always like feeling good and vibrant, but I don't think I want to trip out in New York. I really don't. I think I want to be in nature and like
And that's even what my boyfriend said. He's like, "Are you insane? Like, you trip in New York, you're gonna see just how awful and how scary this fucking city is." And then
I
two,
agree.
and then two, yeah, I'm like, and I don't want to like run into the track. And then two, I think my hesitation was I just even thought like, wait, I don't have to like eat it's a chocolate bar. I don't have to eat the whole bar. Like I could just
Yep.
micro dose and just try to get a hint and just see. And also I love that you said, so listeners, don't be afraid. You were just laughing a lot because my kid brother said that too. He's like, I just thought I was laughing a lot and like my face was melting. It was nice.
Yep, it was melting because we're crying of happiness. Like and then also I couldn't stop yawning, and like there's just a release in your body. It's just like it's
Yeah.
absolutely wild.
And two, isn't it crazy? Like listeners, I think that's why psychedelics, they're able to like open you up and like like you said, release a lot of the trauma and just the baggage and the preconceived, awful, fucked up self narratives that we've had since like birth. Like
I
how
know.
that's why too, what I love ashwagandha, that one, like you go to Bali, that's another
It,
one. Like people come back, oh my God. What?
it just allows you to disassociate like your worthiness and your value with the things that have happened to you, and it makes you look at things from like a third person perspective in a way I never experienced before.
Oh my God. Incredible.
Yeah,
Incredible. And what a time. I know 2020. It's so good to be back in New York. We have to go out. We have to get a drink.
I know.
But
It's
we will do that. I like to start every episode. Amber, how'd we meet?
so we have these great friends, and Sarah was actually on the podcast like a few weeks ago. But Sarah Bex is an amazing woman, and she and her boyfriend Tyler are good friends of mine, even though they probably are like grinding their teeth right now because I haven't seen them since COVID happened. I'm so
Right, same.
but I'm gonna go to their birthday. I think they're having something next month.
We'll
But
see
I
each
was at
other.
their it was like at a barbecue or something, and like me and you just hit it off immediately. We were just having fun. And I remember like you got along with like my boyfriend really well. And we were all hanging out. And I had this video on my Snapchat that recently was like 1 year ago. And Sarah was like in her room taking her shirt off. I mean, you were just like on the couch and we're just like, get it, go, like let's fucking go. And she starts dancing and we're just like cheering her on.
Yeah.
We just had a very good night at Sarah Beck's house, and we just really vibed and connected.
Shout out Sarah Beck. Shout out Tyler. Yeah, I call them mom and dad because like for the longest
Oh,
time,
yes,
I just was like, wait, can I like I want this relationship. Like this
I
is
know.
literally and the foundation and the love and just like we love them so so much. And I do remember that we hit it off right away. I don't really remember that boyfriend, but I do remember just our energy and our vibe was just so good. And listeners, if you know anything about Sarah hosts the greatest parties, but
Greatest.
multiple outfit changes. So
Oh,
change
every
it.
time. Every time. I think that was like her fourth or fifth of like within like 3 hours.
Three
Like,
hours.
yeah. But we love it because like she every time she changes her mood, she goes, oh, it's like chapter 3, chapter 4 of the party. And we're like, yes, bitch, like do this.
And then too, seriously, the greatest parties. Like the party will like move in stages and like things and waves, and then like it's just a full vibe. And
Yeah.
that is where we met. Yes, 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 yes. So I do this podcast is, on body image, cooking and self-love. And today, July 1st, what would you say is like your relationship like with your body? And I mean, I know it's been, at least for me right now, coming off a vacation, I had fun. I enjoyed myself. I was a little critical, but like I was able to tone it down and like not work out, like enjoy life, enjoy vacation. And like now that I'm home, I feel comfortable in my body. I like noticed the like living life 10 extra 8 pounds of like vacation, but I really feel I think I feel okay. And being in a bikini was great for the first time. But yeah, what's your relationship like with your body?
Yeah, no, so I relate to what you just said so much. Like, I went on vacation like in early June, and
Same.
when I travel, I don't eat a lot because I kind of have like some stomach issues, and I just like don't have an
Same.
appetite. But I
Yeah.
came back and I was like, oh, I'm feeling snatched, I'm feeling good. But then you get back into your routine, you're like, oh, I'm eating. But right now, it's on July 1st today. I feel really good. Like I feel like tan because I've been outside, and
You're
I always
glowing. You're glowing.
thank you. I use sunscreen to protect my skin, but like it just feels nice. It feels like a warm glow that's hugging me. And then as far as like I've been a little bit under the weather, so I feel like I've been cooking myself and nurturing myself and making meals, and I just feel like my body's doing everything right now that it should. It's taking care of me and it's helping me get rid of a cold, and I'm really grateful for her. And I'm just like I'm feeling good, and in a way where I used to like maybe like look at like a little pouch of fat when I sat down. Like I'm just appreciating her right now, and I'm not talking bad to her.
Speak it, sis. Speak it. And I so agree with you. Like, Yeah, I'm just talking nice to her and I'm being trying to be kind. Like, I was like, wait, what a luxury. Like, you had 2 vacations and like you had a good time. Like, you were able to live life and enjoy, especially after like the devastation and the loss and us all being out of fucking touch for like 14
I
plus
know.
months. Like,
I know.
I'm so grateful I had that time. And yes, like when I'm in the mirror and like the cellulite, I'm like, whatever. Cause like that food was good and I ran 4 miles and life goes on. And I love that you're able to speak to yourself in such like a nice, loving way.
Yeah.
Um,
I
at,
used to actually, I used to struggle a lot with that because I actually grew up very, very overweight and like was like bullied and like not like bullied super bad, but like I was always like the fat girl in the group.
yeah,
So
same. Hmm.
so it's been a lot of like growing up and like learning that like my curves are beautiful and like changing my mind frame that like my body is like I fuel it and I take care of it and it's not something that like I can make fun of or I can feel ashamed of because it's really who I am.
Of course. I love you. Thank you so much for saying that. And two, it's a part of who you are. And two, isn't it so funny? Because I grew up too as I was the fat black girl. And like, just like the names, you remember Robin Big, that TV show, they would all call me Big. And I'm like, I'm not some big fat. And just
They
like,
would call me Amber. They would call me Amber the hamburger, like legit, like
what
the
the
hamburger from
fuck?
McDonald's.
What the fuck? Wait, what the fuck? I
Dude,
know kids are fucking.
middle schoolers are fucking wicked. Like no
No
joke.
fucking wicked, sis. I see them on the street in New York, and I run because they're so wicked. But middle schoolers everywhere, and two, yeah. So reprogramming that and destigmatizing that, and just loving myself like for who I am, and like you said, like my body fuels me, it takes care of me. Why am I gonna treat it like shit? Like that's not how I show it gratitude and love. Like who the fuck am I? You know?
Exactly, exactly.
What age would you say that you like learned to love your body? And I definitely think I mean, this is a good it's up for debate. A lot of it is like it's just a journey and you never know, but I mean, I believe in the power of enlightenment and like getting there. Was there a certain like
Yeah.
age or did something happen where you just the light bulb clicked? You were like, "Well, this is it and I fucking love it and it's forever."
Yeah, that light bulb is like so I'm always on my journey. Like some days I wake up, I'm like, oh, I'm so bloated. Like
Uh,
you've been bad, but like let's be good now. And I'm like, fuck.
fuck.
But I remember, so I was like a junior in college, and I got an internship in DC to like work in a senator's office, and I was gearing up to go to that, and so my mom took me to J.C. Penney's for like Hillary Clinton like Hill clothes, you know.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And I put on a pantsuit and like I got like a size 10. I was like, oh, I'm probably a size 10. I'll grab a size 12 in case. I
Mhm.
ended up needing like a 16, 18. And I just did not realize how much weight that I gained. And I remember the immense shame in the fitting room and the tears and just like, oh
Mhm.
my God, I didn't. And my mom wears a size 6. So I was like, I just felt very like, oh my God, like, what am I doing with myself?
Mhm.
And I before that I've never exercised. I never paid attention to what I was eating. And
Yeah.
I remember when I went over to DC for that summer, I just got the Couch to 5K app. I just started running. And instead of like reaching for the snack or ordering like whatever I would order, I
Mhm.
started thinking about what I was putting in my body. I ended up like losing like over 50 pounds, which was like amazing. But I kind of got obsessive with calorie counting.
Of
But I will
course.
say that moment was a moment that I was like, wow, I need to have a relationship with my body. I can't just like use it.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes,
And
yes,
since
yes.
then, no matter if like I'm doing really well or like falling off the wagon, I always incorporate some type of fitness into my routine as well as like some type of like mindful eating, whether it's like, and if I know I'm gonna eat bad, then I talk to myself and I'm like, hey, you deserve this meal. You're out with friends. Tomorrow you're gonna take care of yourself and you're gonna like nourish yourself with good food.
Oh my God. And two, the power of fucking just changing the way you think and the way you talk to yourself. And oh
Yep.
my God, Amber, thank you so much. I literally saw myself in that story because for me, a sensitive thing is the fitting rooms. It's the fitting
Yeah.
room since day
Exactly.
one with my nana, with my mom, and just it was the constantly they had to keep going back because nothing would fit, nothing would fit. And then
Yep.
me, I couldn't like be in juniors. I couldn't be in the juniors Macy's or the juniors JC Penney. I was kind of like a missus, but like not the grown adult. But then like the Hollister stuff would only like wear once, then shrink. So it was just such, I'm so sensitive to dressing rooms and I can relate that immense of shame and just feeling like maybe that I didn't even look like my mom, but I just am other. And it was such a hard thing. And dressing rooms have always been so sensitive. And I always wanted to be that girl, like, just like go in and pick it out and I just know it fits me, or jeans. But like,
I know. And I always, and like whenever I'd go to the mall with friends growing up, I always just got such anxiety around like, or like fitting into like a room with people that was like small or like a space. I just
yeah.
always was so anxiety about it.
And I remember you'd be like with your friends, and my friends were like, "Oh, are you gonna try it on?" I'd be like, "Nope, it fits." Like, I'd
Yeah.
rather just take it home and do it there and it not fit. It just was like, no, no, no. And
I
I,
will say, I will say that one thing that I still have really bad anxiety about, and a few guys I've like dated have like made fun of me, is like I still like don't let people pick me up because like I remember like when I was younger and like I was like really really overweight. Like somebody tried once and then they couldn't, and then they like made fun of me in front of like a group of people.
of
And then
course.
I remember when I got married too, like my husband like kind of dropped me, and I was like, I don't know, but
Yeah.
but like those small little things that happen to you when you're like still developing your relationship with yourself and your body, like they stick with you and they cause anxiety for you.
They stick with you. And like, listeners, this is just to like let you know, like, be okay in your journey and where you're at, because yeah, I'm like a 26-year-old adult, like a middle-aged woman, and I'm a 26-year-old young adult woman,
Middle
and
age.
then I'm like middle-aged. No, but yeah, the shit that affected me when I was 5 still, it's so tender, like with inner child healing. We talk about it on my podcast and stuff. Like, that's still a part like I'm trying to nurture and work with, because
Yep.
yeah, shit that some kid said to me in 8th grade, like I could not wear yellow until last year. Like, I would not wear yellow. Some white boy that I thought was hot called me Big Bird, so I swore off yellow. But yellow is like the best chakra healing color, and two, it's like I look so beautiful in yellow, and I was
Yes.
finally able to kind of reclaim it, but it takes time. Like,
And fuck that kid, by the way. Like fuck that.
yeah, no, and
Like
fuck that kid for picking you up and then fucking laughing, nigga. You weak. You a weak 6-year-old. Start
yeah.
lifting. But so it's so crazy how it stays with you, and then how you're just able to. I love that you're just able to reword it, and then two, I can also relate to you with the running. I had graduated high school. I was like gonna go to like ASU or Northern Arizona State, but they like rejected me because like my math score was so bad. Whatever, but I fell into such like a depression, like being 18, all my friends at college, stay home, eat just shit, watch HGTV all day, like
Relatable.
my, girl, like 6+ months. And then I just was with my dog, Pitbull, the family dog, and every night I just started running. I just literally just ran, and thank God I thinking back, I was like running at night in like a good neighborhood, West Coast, but I just ran and I was really able. Isn't it funny? We can relate. Doesn't movement help with like mental illness and
It does.
processing?
It does. And like I remember like back then I was like I had never worked out before and I was too scared to go to a gym and like try. And
Hmm.
I didn't want to like go to the gym and like fail and like not use the membership. So I was like, I'm just gonna go outside and like move my body.
Yeah.
And then if I can't run, if I get too tired, I'm just gonna walk.
Just
And like,
walk.
yeah. And then if my body wants to run again, then I'll let her. Like, let's do it.
Let's do it. And like, what, like, listeners, especially if you're a woman, I think we are just born with this innate, natural born confidence, and it gets like taken away and chipped away because society, patriarchy, white supremacy, but long story short, like, we have the power in us. Bitch, we can like give life. So we really
Yes.
can do anything we set our minds to. And I love that. And like, that's what the when COVID happened, like, I was such like a workout queen, and like workout classes. It was all, I felt paralyzed. I'm like, fuck this online bullshit. I don't want to do this, but mental health wise, and I was gaining weight and just the bipolar manic stuff. I had to do so. I just started running at the track. Like, and I love that you took that initiative just to move. Like, listeners, just move your body. And two, don't undervalue walking. Like, I tell my mom and my nana, just walk, go to the mailbox 10 times a day, like take a walk around the block. Just give your body like some movement, because movement really helps with processing. It really does.
It really does. And like I've struggled with like finding the right routine because I've moved around in New York a lot. I lived in Bushwick, then I lived in the East Village, now I live in Williamsburg. And then during COVID, my gym shut down. I used to go to like New York Health and Racket Club and I loved it.
Oh
But it shut
my.
down. So I knew I needed to like do something to like make myself commit to like fitness and like moving my body. So I did buy a Peloton like last fall, and like I do it most days of the week and I am obsessed.
You
Like I
love
hate
it.
I kind of like hate that I'm obsessed with it because I was hoping I'd be like, oh, like it's whatever. But like once you get it, and because it's like therapy and fitness at the
Yeah.
same time, it's like so
And
intense
and I
for
hear
me.
the instructors are great, the music is great. I'd really be into, I think they have just came out with a treadmill one, but that's
Yep.
incredible. And two, like,
Yep.
what great agency you have. Like you were able to, okay, like, so what do I need to give myself? And listeners, that can take time. So I would just recommend like getting quiet, looking at your options. But no, yeah, like no shit. It was so daunting. New York literally shut the fuck down. My bar class was closed. The YMCA was closed. I was like, and just the online, it's so hard for me to connect. I need the trainer watching me cheat and telling me not to. Like, I need just the diligent in
And also
person.
for me, I felt a little bit triggered like at the beginning of quarantine because like I would see these like really, really cute tiny women like doing these HIIT exercises, like jumping up and down and doing all this stuff. And I'm sitting in my fucking living room like panting. And I'm like, I can't do this. Like I need to work slower. I can't do this. And I just had to find a different thing to do because I was like, I can't fuck with this like video online, like HIIT exercises with Kayla Etsinas. We love Kayla Etsinas, but like I cannot keep up with you. I'm so sorry.
No. I agree. And so, like, after, we're coming out of 2020, New York is open. I think, like, what are the best times to be a woman, to a time to be alive? What would you say is, the biggest lesson that you've learned from your body? And, what has your body taught you? Because I think that's so
Yeah.
undervalued. Like every single day, sometimes like I'll be like riding my bike, then the grocery store, then a run. And I'm like, how did I just do all that? And like I'm back home. Like I'm always just sometimes amazed, like, wow, I got it done.
I would say that like the biggest lessons that I've learned is that like I think I always wanted so bad to like be like this like tiny woman that like is just like delicate and like
Mm,
going into that stereotype.
yep.
And once I was like, you know what, I'm not a delicate flower. Like I'm like a curvy woman, and like if you don't like that, then like fuck off. As soon as like I learned that like I'm never gonna fit into the box that society wanted me to fit into, um, that like changed it for me. I started to like love and like desire my curves and find myself sexy. So I would say the lesson that I learned like this last year was just leaning more into that. And if I take a picture that's like not super it doesn't make me look like the best, I'm like, you know
Mhm.
what, like let me just like pop this, and I know that that side looks good, like she's like this curve on there, like let's do that.
Oh my God, Amber, bitch, lean all the way in. And I love that oh my God, once you realize you're not going to fit into that box, and how I know it's like the thing on Gone Girl. It's like the cool girl, the delicate girl, blonde,
Yep.
white, nothing, drinks beer, like, and this is like, we're like close in the same age. This is what we grew up like programming to be like the hills, Laguna Beach,
Paris
nothing, just
Hilton.
Paris Hill, the simple like
I know.
girl.
I know.
This is
And then
it's
and then I was like, I'm never gonna. And then I started like, obviously, I identify as bisexual, and I started
mhm.
like exploring my sexuality and being with different types of different shapes and different sizes and different colors of people. And I started like being like, you know what? They all seem to think I'm really fucking hot. So like I must be doing something right. And I don't look like Paris Hilton, and it's fine.
And it's fine. Oh my God. And it's totally fine. And I think once, listeners, you detach yourself from one fucking society standards, your parents' standards, your friends who hate you and talk shit about whoever, like you just draw into you and it attracts everything. Cause I love that too. Yeah. You were like, wait, once I fucking like loved myself, dating was funner. I loved like, and then the energy just attracted back to you. So then you're
Yep.
like, oh, what? And then for me too, I'd be like dating in New York being like, oh, I'm a badass hot black girl. Like, I don't need to be like a blonde white girl that likes martinis in the West Village. I mean, don't not fuck her, but I don't need to be her.
Like good for her, but good for me too.
Good for me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I really think, we're all born so differently. And women, I mean, I feel like too, like, and I've had my struggle and journey and then with losing friends, but just also cutting a lot of friends off the last year and stuff. Like, we're brought up like kind of there's only one room for one of us, at least I'll speak for me. For black women, it's like there's only room for one of us at the table. It can't be multiple. And then two, it's just women in general, like there's not a seat for all of us. And then there's like kind of trying to get into boys clubs and just this all allure of it. So I think it's so important that we women are uplifting each other and loving each other, and two, just cheering each other on, because my path isn't going to look like yours, but like how beautiful, how wonderful is that we can both have different paths and like still cheer each other on and both succeed and maybe make shit, build our own fucking tables,
Yeah, right. And it's interesting that you brought up like the simple life and like the hills because we
Mhm.
saw these like girl groups in these TV shows where there was a small group of girls and they all kind of represented a little bit of difference, but like they're like you said, like as I would never understand what it's like to be a Black woman, but like there's usually if there's like a group of 4 women, probably only one of them is Black in these shows growing up.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the fuck? Like, how can I see me there if you're not letting me know what like the world actually looks like?
Completely. And then how can I grow up thinking, yeah, like for the longest time, I just had all white friends. And I came to New York and I was really able to find like my sense of Blackness and my sense of like female Black girlfriends and just what a like sad experience I was missing out on because I just had thought, and not only I thought, but like just where I grew up was just so small and so white and predominantly. And I
West.
think the best thing you can do is just expand your mind.
Yeah, I
Expand
totally agree.
expand your mind. And two, I will say for like love and sex and stuff, thank you so much for sharing your bisexuality. Beautiful. Happy Pride, bitch. Pride's 24/7, 365.
Oh, you.
My first time, because like growing up, I had never kissed a boy. Boys didn't like me. No, 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 like tall Black girl. But I was like 18, went to Italy. And girl, I'm like this young baby in Italy with all like my white girlfriends. And these Italian grown ass men are like frockling,
Oh
coming
my
after me,
God.
yelling. And I'm like, wait, what? So I don't need to be like blonde, white hair, blue. I was like shook to shit. And I just think it's so important for women, especially to explore that sensual side of us, explore your femininity. How are you pleasing yourself? How do you want to be pleased? And just know that there's someone out there for you. Cause I feel like a lot of people right now are single. And I think what a fucking great time to be single. Like, what a great fucking time. But
Definitely a
also,
horny time to be single right now.
a horny time, be safe, protect. But what a time. I think the best thing you can do is just get to know yourself and then
Yeah.
play on that and explore that side because that's also where you find confidence, especially body confidence.
Yeah. And you're gonna have more fun dating like once you love yourself and like you love your body. Like I remember I used to like not I would always like bring like a jean jacket with me and wherever I went because I don't feel really confident about my arms, for example. So I'd always like bring a jacket or a cardigan. And once I
Mhm.
was like, I started like liking myself and I started developing a good relationship with me. I was like going on Hinge dates and Tinder dates with like a spaghetti strap, and I never felt hotter. I was like, this is fucking tight. Like, and they probably think I'm hot too, because like my hotness is like, it's like
Exudes. It's
yes,
exuding. Yes,
yes.
yes, yes, yes. And once you change your energy, you change your fucking life. It's just, it's really that simple. So what would you
Such a dumb
say?
thing to say, but like you just made me think of that one thing. It's like your vibe attracts your tribe. Like such a stupid
I'm dead.
thing, but like that's
Wait.
basically what we're saying.
Basically, and why do I hate your vibe and your but it's
I
such a vibe.
know.
Oh God, I feel like a Gen Zer vibe. But no, absolutely. And two, I think just as we're coming out of COVID, everyone listening, take your time. You can
Yeah.
find your people, you can find your group, but take your time. A lot of people are having hard time getting back into the real world. And isn't it crazy? Like there's gonna be some people who like never come back out fucking side. Cause like what a traumatic bucket, like what is 20
Traumatic.
traumatic. And this is something single-handedly we all fucking face. Isn't that crazy? That's why
Yeah.
too, I really always in each episode, I'm like, I had a hard time, white people had a hard time, Asian people, like we all went through this shit, you know?
Yeah. And like with everybody's different like health issues or family situations or living situations, like people are gonna like go back to normal life like on their own terms. And we all just need to be really understanding and welcoming of that and be understanding and good about it. Cause I think
Absolutely.
sometimes I get a little like I kind of call some of my friends out sometimes, or even my family, when they're like making judgments on how others are trying to transitioning back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you don't know what shoes they're walking in. Like, you don't know what their date, like, you don't know if maybe they have an immunocompromised person at home. Like, let's give everyone their space and be really compassionate to each other right now.
Absolutely. And thank you so much, Amber, for saying that. And that just gave me the to absolutely check people because we all face private battles and especially mental health. I'm so open about my bipolar and my mental health illness. Like you don't know the days that someone can take. Like just for me personally, Thursday, thank God I'm here doing this interview because it was a tough day, but you give people, I love that, compassion. Let's just be compassionate for one another. And then when you do feel ready to come out, you will find your tribe, you will connect, and it'll just
Yep.
happen on its own authentically. Another one of my favorite questions, what would you say something that, your mother taught you about your body? And that could be good or bad because, our relationship with our parents are complex. And I've been some of these, I asked this question and then some like listeners drag their mom and I'm like, okay, speak your truth. But like,
So,
it is
yeah.
what it is.
Unfortunately, I'm going to have to drag my mom right now. I'm going to fall in that camp. But and honestly, so I saw my mom like earlier this month, or I guess it's July now, in June.
Mm-hmm.
We get along great. She lost her husband like almost 5 years ago, so she's a lonely woman in her mid 50s, late
Yeah.
50s. So like she struggles, whatever. But
Mhm.
I remember like even when I was a kid, like just looking in the mirror and saying yucky or like like wrinkles, like fat, and she's not fat at all. And like she would start picking herself apart in the mirror in front of us. And I have 3 sisters, so it was a house full of girls.
Mhm.
And sometimes we'd like wear a shirt where like maybe a little cleavage was showing, and my dad would say like cover that shit up, and my mom wouldn't stick up for us, where so
Mhm.
and I mentioned seeing her in June because like I remember we were in Los Angeles. I got us an Airbnb, and she was looking in the mirror, putting on makeup, and
Mhm.
she was talking disrespectful to herself. And I remember I
Mhm.
walked into the room and I was like, "Shut the fuck up." And she's like, "What?" And I was like, "How can you ever expect anyone to think you're beautiful when you talk to yourself like that?" And so like I will say what I learned is that when I have a daughter one day, which I don't know if I'm gonna have kids, but if I do, I'm gonna I'm gonna fucking pump that bitch up every day. Like,
Every
you look
day.
so good today. Like, look at yourself, girl. Like, work it. Like, I want to like, and because my mom just like from an early age, I was constantly looking in the mirror, asking myself, what's wrong with me? Because that's what I was taught.
Of
And I just never
course.
want to do that to anyone ever.
Of
And
course.
now I call her out and I'm like, Mom, it's exhausting to
Yeah.
hear you talk to yourself like that. It's absolutely exhausting.
Absolutely. And two, wow, Sarah, thank you so much for sharing. And we love moms on this podcast, but two, like they grew up differently. Like even some, like my grandma, who's my mom's mom, so self-critical. So like just being on vacation, seeing her and like the body comments and this and that, and then just the judgment on everyone else's body and appearance. And I'm like, oh my God, I have so much empathy for my mom. But yeah, my mom was like big on the Weight Watchers, the diet things, the thing, and just trying to help her find her place. And like, I don't fault her for that, but like, you grow up then thinking these things about yourself. And then, like anything, following the patterns that you've seen the whole mirror to you. So, like, how can you not? And I just commend you so much. I'm so glad that stand up to your mom. Like, you can't speak to yourself that way. It's really like words are power. Like, I forgot like the power of words and like, why are you going to like curse yourself or disbow yourself? And maybe, personally for me, cause like I grew up with such like a self hatred kind of mind frame. And I really like hated like being in a black body where just whiteness was praised. So I can relate to that like low energiness. So just a lot of self compassion and yeah, just call it out. Be like, why don't you actually say something nice to yourself,
Yeah,
mom? Like,
and I sent her a few YouTube videos. I'm like, look into affirmations, like talk nice to yourself, and it will you'll start to believe it, even if you don't right now, like you will.
mm-hmm.
And so like she does not go to therapy. I'm basically like her couch psychologist, and I'm
Love
fucking
it.
sick of it. But like I'm just doing what I'm just doing my best.
Yeah, you're just doing your best. I love it. I love it. What would you say? What's your breakfast routine? We love breakfast on the podcast. I did kind of struggle with some eating disorder, being on Adderall, ADHD medication before I was diagnosed with bipolar. Oh my God, I would never fucking eat. But now I love breakfast. Now I'm like so big on breakfast. It's such a good, like, you have to start your day with food. I know like the whole wellness and whiteness and intermittent fasting, of course, to each their own, but like women should just eat or everyone should just eat food. But
Yes.
what's your breakfast routine?
Yeah, so like I'm the type of person that like gets obsessed with things, and then I do them every day, and then I'll get really sick of it and I'll just start a new thing and get obsessed with it.
Yeah.
So normally with breakfast I kind of like cycle a few things out. Right now I'm like it's like summer, and like I want to like eat more in the evenings when I'm going out and like seeing friends. So
Yes.
I'm having like a nutrient dense green smoothie and coffee. But during quarantine and like being home alone, I was every day basically I had avocado toast with gluten-free toast, like lots of eggs with onions and hot sauce, and then a bunch of fruit, like every day. So like it depends how I'm feeling. If I want to feel like I want to eat, if I'm hungry, if I'm not hungry, then I'm just gonna have like a nutrient dense like smoothie or something.
Exactly, exactly. And don't you love that season to change? I mean, wait, New York, we're just kind of getting out of the heat wave, but absolutely. Like, I definitely feel lighter in the morning. So, like, I'll do a celery juice, 2 boiled eggs, hard boil, and like that's it. Like, and then, like you said, that listeners, I'm always still fucking shocked by this. The sun does not set till 9. So it's like, yeah, you'll be out with your friends by like 7, maybe order by 8. Like, and by then, like, eat 8 to like 11. So yeah, I want to have more of like the denser meals and the fun when, because the sun is still out and it's just such a great time, you know?
Yeah, and I'm having like tomorrow I'm going out with friends for a birthday and the dinner reservations I think at like 8:30 at night. And I'm like, okay, then I'm gonna eat pretty light because I want to ball out when I go out to eat. We're going to get
Ex-
sushi. I'm like, I want to eat whatever I want.
oh
Like,
my God. Go off, go off. What are you? I'm a big sweet tooth girl. What is like your favorite dessert, candy, ice cream? Are you dabbing in that? I'm just a sugaraholic.
I definitely do have a sweet tooth as well. I've learned how to like tame
Manage.
her over the years, you know, and manage it. But like my favorite candy is probably like anything sour, like Sour Patch Kids. I love a watermelon Sour Patch Kids. Um, and then for dessert, like if I'm like at a restaurant, like I fuck with creme brulee really hard. Like I love it.
Oh
So
my
good.
gosh.
So good. And then
So good.
also you can't go wrong with like a warm. I went to this restaurant like a few months ago called Marc Forgione. It's in like Tribeca. It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
But they brought up this like little like iron pan with a warm chocolate chip cookie just smothered in vanilla ice cream. And I'm just like, yes, like that is like a dessert that is like tried and true. I'm obsessed with it.
Never goes wrong. I feel like I'm a 5-year-old
Ever.
with a big cookie at Grimaldi. It's the best, the best. Oh my God. And wait, I have our first date together. I love creme brulee. Why is creme brulee so underrated? Such the one
So
of the
good.
best fucking desserts in New York because like every restaurant is so unique and so different. Love, love, love a creme brulee. I love the one at La Boucherie. It's like a French
Oh,
thing.
I had that. It's so good. I've had that.
So good. I would just get off of work and like just like go to the bar, just get that, just order it and then like go home. Like just the best. So so so
Yeah.
good.
And there's this one spot in I think it's called La Durée or something. Have you been there before? Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's in a Soho and it's like this like tea house with like macaroons and shit. But they have
Ooh.
this amazing ice cream that's like it's like rose petal ice cream. Like if I'm sad and I'm having a sad girl day, I'll put on Phoebe Bridgers and just go get ice cream by myself at this place. It's so good.
Oh my God. Hey, stop. I will get that from you when we hang up
Let's
because
go.
we have, yes, we must. And I grew up in Arizona, born and raised. To me, I'm sorry, ice cream is like 12 months out of the year, morning breakfast, like it's an all ice
The
cream
best.
forever, the best, the best, the best. Before we wrap up, I wanted to know, like, what would you say you love most about your body? And you're just so one as a friend, as someone I've only known for like 3.5, 2 years, like just your growth and your progress has been so beautiful to see. And what do you love most, about your body?
Yeah, I like love, and it's weird that the thing I love about my body now is like what I used to hate about it.
That's how it happens.
And I've listened to like a lot of your stuff too, so I know that you relate to this. But like I used to hate my curves. I was like, I want to be small. I want to be small. And then once I started taking care of my body and like eating and like exercising, I saw how small my waist was and just the curvature from my waist like down to my hips. I like look behind me in the mirror. I'm like, damn. I'm like, that's fucking hot. I'm like, this is amazing. So I really do love my curves and I used to hate it. And I love the way I look in a good pair of jeans, like a good pair of jeans that's hugging everything the right way. Like I love it. And then I guess like the other answer before I learned to love my body, like I was always like, like on dating, like with people, I'd be like, oh, like I might be chubby, but like my eyes are beautiful. But like now I'm like, no, like I'm beautiful, like whatever.
Yes, yes. I love that. Wait, and then okay, come winter, we also have to go jean shopping because you're right. Being curvier, listeners, and jeans, like, okay, jeans are made for everyone, but girl, jeans on like, and I think even Khloe Kardashian, I heard her jean line is fabulous. The way the jeans fit on curves are just insane, phenomenal, some Marilyn Monroe shit. And two, I love that you said, like, you were able to see me too, you're able, listeners, when you have the chance to look at yourself in the mirror naked, you'll be able to see like the lines of your body and the beautiful curvatures. And then
Yeah.
it's just so crazy. Like, yeah, the things I grew up hating, like now I just have so much love and respect for because they make me me. And what a beautiful place you can come back to and always have, especially because, growing up as like a child, how we grew up, it's such a that's why I relish. Everyone's like, "How are you just so full of love?" And I'm like, "Bitch, because I hated myself from birth and like
And I did the
17."
work and I've been doing the work and I'm committed to the work. And that's why
Committed.
yep.
Yes. Yes. And people are like, where's the energy? Where's coming? It's like, you will not like and two, I think you have to tap into it because we all have some form of like, shadow, things we don't like, things we're sensitive, things we were bullied on, picked on. And I think once you kind of bring that to light and just embrace that, embrace who you are, that's when you can really shine.
I totally agree. And I love that we like met each other because I just feel like we're both on this like on this like vibrancy that's just like there's bad days, there's good days, but like I know that I have it in me to get through it and to grow from whatever I experience every day. And I just think it's such a good place to be in at our age.
Oh my God, such a good thing, such a good thing, and such a thing people take for granted. Because even like one of my Uber drivers, he's like, even common sense, like he's like, you're surprised, like no, it's a luxury that you had that. And then I'm kind of thinking of the state of the world, and I'm like, no shit, yeah, that common sense is a luxury. What a luxury it is that we've done the work, continue to do the work, and coming back to ourselves is like just a place of home and comfort, you know. And I would just suggest every listener like get that time alone, do a shroom trip, you know,
Yeah.
dabble in your sexuality, just find things that you're ashamed of and try to just bring them forward, because they'll just always be inside and it'll be a terror, and that's how it works.
And every time I feel uncomfortable, like I used to get so scared and run from it. And now I kind of relish it. I'm like, what am I going to learn from this? Because this is so terrible. And I'm so fucking mad or sad or whatever. Yeah. I'm like, what am I going to learn from this? Because I know I'll learn something. And then that's just like that growth mindset has just been so monumentally important for my personal development to like be who I want to be.
Incredible, Amber. And two, it's like, and then what's on the other side of it? Because too, oh my, after wow, the other side, it's glory. It's a higher sense of self, ascension, gratitude, abundance. It's just more like a higher vibration, absolutely higher vibration. Wait, what is your sign? What sign are you?
I'm a Libra.
A Libra. Love.
I'm like Libra rising and Libra sun. So and then like my moon is an Aquarius, which is like not too different. So I'm just like very much a Libra, like through and through.
Through and through. I'm a moon Aquarius. Oh, that's why I knew it the first night we like really hit it. That weird. I get it.
What are you? What's your sun and rising?
My sun is a Scorpio, and then I'm a double Aquarius, moon and rising Aquarius.
Yeah, I'm a double Libra, so I fuck with that.
Yeah, and two, it like gives you an edge because you're more of, I think the characteristics pop out and you're able to like get your strengths from that. And then whatever the other sign, it's science.
Yeah, I actually love that. And I was on a date last night actually with someone that I've been hanging out with. And he like asked me what my sign was. And I told him, and I was like, what's yours? He's like, I actually don't know. And I was like, bitch, pulled my phone. I was like, we're going to figure this out. And then he's like, do you believe in that stuff? I'm like, I think that it's a good vehicle to like have deep discussions with people. And if there's anything that gets you talking about like characteristics, values, I'm like, then that is a good thing.
Absolutely. And to my nana, she'll be like, that's just the devil's work. And I'm like, grandma, one, humans, like we're controlled by the moon. Like we like on some listener, like we're controlled by the moon, like especially with emotions and me and my mental illness. It's a thing. And I love that. Just, it's a different way to get to know yourself and explore it. And oh yeah, sis, 2021, pull that phone out on that date, get his time, get his thing.
And if his mom says, don't talk to her, be like, whatever, like he's not worth that.
He's not worth
where like the son will be like, hey, what time was I born? The mom's like, don't talk to her anymore. It's like, fuck.
I love it. They're on to us. Wait, so before we close out, I want to know, you know, what does self-love mean to you? And you're just like glowing in it, literally. And I can't wait till we can see each other this summer and hang out. I'm so excited. But what does it mean to you?
I think self-love, and I've thought a lot about this because I think self-love is being your own best friend. Because I would never treat my best friend, if I really love and care about someone, they're like my best friend, I would never put them down. It's going to have hard times. It's going to have good times. You're going to work through it together. You praise them when they're good, but you also are stern with them and you hold them accountable when they don't do good. Mm-hmm. And so I think self-love truly is like being your own best friend and finding that within yourself.
Oh my God. Yes. 100 and fucking 20 yes.
And bubble baths and candles, but like
and kombucha. No, but absolutely. And I think, you know, listeners, there's such a binding literally with yourself when you are your own best friend. I think COVID was so hard for me too, because I would just like take myself on New York dates, just like walk for hours, smoke some weed, go to my favorite park.
Romanticize the shit out of your life, because who else is going to do it if you're not going to do it?
Hello. And even like before when I was dating stuff, I would just date myself, like just do things and like be spontaneous and like live how I want to live. And like we were saying, that's how you attract the life you want. And just, I love being your own best friend, because too, I love that. You're not going to talk to your best friend like shit. You're not going to like spit on her when she's crying. You're going to be like, well, it's okay. But you're also going to hold her accountable. Like don't steal and don't be a cunt. But I love that answer. I love that answer.
Thank you so much.
And where can all my listeners find you, follow you? Also, you wrote a beautiful blog post. Can I link that below? Because it was such a great story, and it's such a great story of your life, and just so vulnerable. And I'm so proud to call you a friend. It was such a beautiful read, and I really want to link it.
Yeah, if you want to link that, that's totally fine. And then I don't really like have like a public Instagram that's like, you follow my personal one. I did start like a Finstagram in quarantine where I just like post stuff that I don't like, whatever. It looks, and that's Brand None. It's like my favorite band and my favorite song smushed together, but it's Brand None on Instagram.
We'll tag your Finsta. I love it. I love it. Amber, thank you so much. This has been such a great talk. And I love you. Thank you for being open and honest. And listeners, it's possible. Move to fucking New York City, meet dope people, create your dream life, and don't give up on yourself.
And if you do that, like hit us up, like we will hang out with you for sure.
And we'll hang out with you.
Thank you so much. Love you too. Have a great night. Thanks so much, everyone.
I love you. Bye, you guys. See you next week.